On the Wing by Christina Rossetti. Once in a dream, for once I dreamed of you. We stood together in an open field. Above our heads, two swift-winged pigeons wheeled, sporting at east and courting full in view, when loftier still a broadening darkness flew. Down, swooping, and a ravenous hawk revealed, too weak to fight, too fond to fly, they yield. So farewell life and love and pleasures new. Then as their plumes fell fluttering to the ground, their snow-white plumage flecked with crimson drops, I wept and thought I turned towards you to weep, but you were gone, while rustling hedgerow tops, bent in a wind, were bore to me a sound, afar off, piteous, bleat of lambs and sheep.
Welcome to the Lo-Fi Lounge 4th anniversary. 4 years, that's a long time for us to all be together, and I really appreciate it. Usually in these shows I'll put together kind of a hodgepodge of favorite things from the year, but this time around I just want to celebrate Joni Mitchell. Thanks again.
Shotgun in the sky, turn right in to butterflies that
Welcome back to me, my shelf, and I. And for the next few segments, I want to celebrate one of the best box set series that I've ever encountered. It's Joni Mitchell's Archives series. This is volume 1. It goes from 1963 to 1967. You know, this Joni Mitchell archive collection is quickly turned into one of my favorites of all. And as I delved, deeper into it, this is 5 discs, and it includes, a continuation of her conversation with Cameron Crowe. They started examining these years from 1968 to 71. She goes on to talk about playing at in this coffee house in March of 1968. The management comes back and they go, Jimi Hendrix is out there and he has this box and he wants to talk with you.
The night I met Jimmy, he came after his show with a reel-to-reel tape recorder because there weren't cassettes. There was a big box with reel-to-reel. And he said to me very shyly, "Do you mind if I take your show?" And he set it up on the stage. So I played most of the evening down to Jimmy, like giving me yes, and doing tape reversal. He did all sorts of, like he made me go, because we played it back that night at the hotel. We all stayed in the same hotel.
But she remembers talking with John Lennon.
I mean, when I met John Lennon, it was during his last year in L.A., and he came up to me and he said, "Oh, it's all a product of our education. You want a hit, don't you?" I was cutting Court and Spark. He was cutting across the hall. So I played him something from Court and Spark, and he said, "You want a hit, don't you? Put some fiddles on it. Why do you always let other people have your hits for you,
So you get a lot of insights of her connections to others. To the 5th disc, where there's a BBC recording that she does where James Taylor's part of it. Welcome, my friends, to part 3 of these Joni Mitchell archive box sets. This is volume 3, the Asylum Years, 1972 to 1973. Just when I read that title, I realized how quickly this box moves through her artistry. And as in the other boxes, you get kind of 5 discs that cover, in this case, from For the Roses up through Court and Spark and into the Hissing of Summer Lawns, background demos before you even get to the sessions for the albums. And then there's some live concerts that are woven in, unusual places where she starts branching out and playing to bigger and bigger audiences. But I don't think any of that means anything to Joni Mitchell, because she looked at this whole conversation and this whole box set series. She always just looks at music and songwriting as just part of a process. The only song she mentions in there that she decided, well, I need to write a hit the way people want me to, and she does You Turn Me On When I'm a Radio. It's funny when you read her take on it that it's just like a throwaway idea in order to try to develop the hit that Geffen Records would want, or, what would the Suits want. Just more and more in this conversation with Cameron Crowe. For the Roses, all the way through Court and Spark was a, gigantic hit. And then on to Hissing as Summer Lawns, you think of the, the depth and sophistication and yet accessibility to her music. She really hit on a space and time where what she does has a growing and growing audience that has respect for her as a songwriter, and then a bunch of new people who like these sounds. So part of this box set that's really, really interesting is how she develops, from a singular, blues style Joni on a dulcimer singing these songs to demos that yearn to have a band. Work it out with a band. There's even some really great examples of some of these songs played with Neil Young and his kind of rough and tumble band.
If you're driving into town with a dark cloud above you, dialing the number who's bound to love you, honey, you turn me on. I'm a radio. Hey, honey, you got lots of cash. Bring us round the bar and we'll have some laughs. Just what I'm drinking, I was raised on robbery.
Trying to weave a feel to what her music would sound like up against other players, and she really, really was interested in developing that sound. So how she navigates towards a band that she feels the most comfortable with, that become a little, of course, naturally rougher with Neil's band, but her songwriting and the integrity of the music is still there. It's just not quite where she's headed. With these other players, you see how she's moving from this inside music to a band, but still retaining the quality of these stories and the personal touch that makes all of her music so important to us. Was launching into a very, very different vision, part personal, but part experimental, and that she's finding herself as a musician from the very first volume. When you hear her in the DJ's studio when she just wins the songwriting contest and she's very, very young, you note her musicianship, that she's playing these folk songs with a precision and internal clock that's her own. All the live performances, she's always really good, and the audiences are getting bigger and bigger. But just in the demos, if she's playing piano, you hear how complete the thought is.
Again and again the same situation for so many years.
It's like she doesn't really have to vary much of what she does as far as the song being an established entity. She is looking for other ways to kind of push that sound out and find out more about herself as a musician, which then naturally leads her to some of these, kind of more jazz influenced. If anybody listens to that live album she does with Tom Scott, even before she joins up with Jaco Pastorius, on some levels people are already turned off because there's jazz music, but you hear the rock sound that's in her, and if you listen to Miles of Isles album, realize that she's not being absorbed into this light jazz music. She's taking these good musicians and making everyone better, and I'm sure it's a highlight for them as it was for her moving forward. So many people like Court and Spark, and it's kind of their peak. This is a wonderful ramp up to where she meets both an artistic and commercial success, and yet that's not the thing that she's in it for. And I really enjoy that Cameron Crowe interview, through this, third section, to where, the first one, and you could tell they did them kind of close together because they, her favorite cat has disappeared, and, she's afraid he's never going to come back. And then, he appears somewhere through the conversation. She's learned to, over the course of these archives, appreciate herself better. I mean, folks that are hardcore Joni Mitchell fans, you treasure what she has done. What she treasures is that cat. He comes back into her garden and he's hanging out. And then Cameron asks about the Woody Allen film Manhattan. At the end of the film, Allen is sitting down and he's talking to a recorder about what treasures make life worth living. And the way this book ends is, she says, makes it very, very simple. She goes, the things that make life worth living, the treasures for Joni, are flowers, cats, love affairs, and friends. And by the end of this series, if you invest in these box sets, you'll get to know Joni, not personally, but you realize that she's one of the treasures in life, part of the thing that makes life worth living, and you feel almost like you're her friend. I recommend all three of the archive series very highly, and anticipate the fourth, and I hope it sends us all back, listening to her music and appreciating her genius.
Afternoon, when things slow down, when you're wondering what to do. Let's go! Go bowling! Nothing brings people together or makes friends so fast as bowling. So call a friend. Bowl Brunswick tomorrow.
Well, I dreamed I saw the knights in armor coming, saying something about a queen. There were peasants singing and drummers drumming, and the archers split the tree. There was a fanfare blowing into the sun that was floating on the breeze. Look at Mother saw the silver spaceship flying in the yellow haze of the sun. There were children crying in colors flying all around the chosen one. All in a dream, all in a dream. The loading had begun. Fly Mother Nature, silver seed to a new home in the sun. Fly Mother Nature, silver seed to a new home.
Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, the dizzy dancing way you feel. And every fairy tale comes real. I've looked at love that way, but now it's just another show. You leave and laughing when you go, and if you care, don't let them know. Don't give yourself away. I've looked at love from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's love's illusion I recall. I really don't know love at all.
I was driving across the burning desert when I spotted 6 jet planes leaving 6 white vapor trails across the bleak terrain, like the hexagram of the heavens, like the strings of this guitar. Amelia, it was just a false alarm. The drone of flying engines is a song so wild and blue. It scrambles time and seasons if it gets through to you. Then your life becomes a travelogue of picture postcard charms. Amelia, it was just a false alarm. People will tell you where they've gone, and they'll tell you where to go, but till you get there yourself, you never really know. Where some have found a paradise, others just come to harm. Amelia, it was just a false alarm. I wish that he was here tonight. It's so hard to obey his sad request of me to kindly stay away. So this is how I hide the hurt, as the road leads cursed and charmed. I tell Amelia it was just a false alarm. The ghost of aviation, she was swallowed by the sky or by the sea. Like me, she had a dream to fly, like Icarus ascending on beautiful foolish arms. Amelia, it was just a false alarm. Maybe I've never really loved, I guess that is the truth. I've spent my whole life in clouds at icy altitudes, and looking down on everything, I crashed into his arms. Amelia, it was just a false alarm. Pulled into the Cactus Tree Motel to shower off the dust, and I slept on the strange pillows of my wanderlust. I dreamed of 747s over geometric farms. Dreams, Amelia, dreams and false alarms.
Just a little bit.